And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the PiGosaur Monday number 29. I do apologize for the downtime. Unfortunately, we did not make it to the ace match of Beyond versus Shin. Unfortunately, we were left out, but the series did conclude. It was a banger of a match, I heard, and Shin did take down Beyond 2-1, went all the way to the ace match, went the distance, and Shin did come out on top, which means we have our grand finals. It's going to be a PvZ matchup here between Astrea and Shin. Let's go. PvZ best of 5 is ahead of us on our lovely tournament map pool. Here we go. Vitas are done. Game 1 is going to be on the grid. Let's go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of the grid, we have the red Protoss player, the American Protoss, who just took down and just made his way through Cure and a plethora of Terran players, but now is up against a Zerg. We'll see if he can go all the way. It is Astrea. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing his new team, Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is Shin. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series and who you think will become this week's champion. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our initial best of 5 into our grand finals. Let's go, baby, let's go. I see someone asking in the chat, is this played on the NA server? Yes, you can always assume that if you ever see a European versus a Korean or a North American versus a Korean, it is always played on the NA server. That is always the case. There are certain exceptions to that. The exceptions would be like server qualifiers. So if there was like, I don't know, like a server qualifier for DreamHack Dallas or EPT IM Katowice or something, if there were like specific server qualifiers, then usually games are prioritized on said server for like an American server qualifier or a European server qualifier, something along those lines. But those are usually the only exceptions to the rule. As for now, we are going to be settling in. We have our initial hatch gas pool, standard opener here from Shin. Likewise, Astrea going for his own standard opener as well. And welcome once again, one and all, to the grid. The grid being a very interesting map. Did actually place quite highly when it comes to some of the voting in TLMC. And again, the grid does have 6 layers of elevation. We got the main, we come down towards the natural, and the third, we come down towards the 4th, we come down towards the 5th and 6th, and then down towards the 7th and 8th base as well. Again, just going further and further lower when it comes to set elevation. But I'll be honest, despite how unique the map is, we have never experienced a split map scenario on the grid yet. I look forward to it, don't get me wrong. I look forward to a longer game state. We'll see if we can get there, because the rush distance by ground is relatively short. So shorter rush distance by ground, we are what, 2 screens away from base to base, so often aggression is favored on this map. Often we have more aggressive tendencies, but we'll see what Shin does go for. When it comes to Astrea, again, he's had an amazing performance so far. Last week, he was looking dominant in PvT against Beyond. This week, he was looking dominant in PvT against Cure as well. Again, I would say that Astrea's best matchup, his strongest matchup, is PvT. He can take it to almost any Terran out there in the world. I would say that his PvZ is, I would say, potentially his weakest matchup here. This is the matchup where Astrea has to work on the most. I'm quite fond of Astrea's late game though. His late game PvZ is comparable to Serral. If you remember, Astrea did beat Serral earlier this year in Masters Coliseum in PvZ. It was a very impressive performance, a very impressive showing when it comes to his late game prowess. But can he get there? That's the question. Can he actually make it there, as we do go for a robo opener instead? Oh my god, he's crazy. Adepts, they do shade in, getting 2 drone kills so far. Now a robo opener could be one of 2 things. This could be a robo into a bay, into a disruptor drop, which is a very old school build. It's been a long time since that has been in the meta. This could otherwise be a robo into Twilight Council, into Prism, into Archon drop. So one of 2. One of 2 here. Based on the pilot location, we might be intending to hide at the Temple Archives, or the Twilight Council, I should say. We'll see what we go for, as the robo is about to complete. And are we opening up with the bay? Looks like we are. Yeah, Prism first. Forge for +1. Ooh, okay. Early Forge for upgrades. This is a build. This actually is reminiscent to Showtime. Shin throws down a 4-minute Roach Horn, so a very safe opener out of Shin. But this is going to be later aggression. Jesus, God, the diva. But basically, SHIN, he's getting ready for early game aggression. He's getting ready for Glaive Adepts, getting ready for Dark Templar. This is not that. Again, early +1, Twilight Council's on the way. This should be for a Templar Archives, I would imagine. Eventually. Until then, the Prism is going to be moving out to harass across the map. But a very quirky build here from Astrea. Throwing down extra gateways. Now again, because the Twilight Council is so late, that's why I'm leaning towards going into a Temple Archives, into Archon production. Early Immortal production has begun. Lings are coming for a surround. They do catch out the Stalker. At least they try to. Oh, and they will. Stalker goes down. 1, 2 adepts as well. Very nice pickles here by SHIN. Prism towards the main. Charge has begun here for Astrea. Yep, and there's the Temple Archive. So it is going to be Archon production as we had assumed, but this is hyper aggressive. This is 6 gateways on 2 bases. This screams 2 base all in. 2 base all in, +1 timing, charge timing, and a couple of Archons will hit in time as well. All lining up. So a crazy 2 base all in here from Astrea. Meanwhile, it does get into the mid line. 1, 2, 3 drones going down. Did I say 3? He's going to get up to 4, up to 5. 5 drone kills. Adepts, they survive. Very nice control here. Very nice harass from Astrea. And Astrea, he is not stopping. He's also... Oh, good. As the Prism is going to be hunted down. Nice pick up. No dead space. No dead space here in the corner of the map. Astrea, he's learning the map the hard way here. There was no way to hide that Prism, so the Prism does go down. Storm is on the way. Interesting. I had assumed this would hit with Archons, not with Storm, so this is going to be a later timing, actually. Okay. Oh, he has to break down his own wall. Breaks down the gateway. He does break free. Now taking a very delayed expansion. And SHIN, because of the build, because of the opener, SHIN, he was ready for Adepts. He was ready for aggression. Aggression that never came. And now suddenly SHIN is stuck with an army. And he's making more roaches. He's making use of it. He's going to make use of this army. I believe all of a hatch tech. Yep. No lair. No lair. A hatch base all in here by SHIN. Morphing in Ravagers, flooding with Lings. SHIN, he's going to all in. And Astrea, he seems pretty prepared here. I say that. No shield batteries. There's a shield battery at the 3rd. 0 setup here at the natural. I do like the army that Astrea has. And Storm is going to finish, by the way. Storm will finish in time. But the lack of shield batteries is concerning. Because he doesn't know that an all-in is coming. Astrea, he doesn't see what's happening. Now he does. Now he sees, and now it might just be too late. Lings, they flood in. Storm's going to be forced out. Oh, but Lings are coming from behind the army. They go to top of the High Templar. They force out the Storms. And now there's no more High Templar, no more Storms. The Immortals are exposed. Whilst they connect with the Archon. And SHIN is done it. SHIN is done it. He breaks on through again. There was only one shield battery. Astrea, he was not aware of the all-in. Oh my god, nice Storm though. Very nice Storm towards the end. Astrea, he's fighting back. He's barely holding on despite being unprepared, despite the more haphazard defense. Astrea, he holds. Whew, he does hold. Cleans up all the Lings. He takes down all the Ravagers. This was an expensive defense for Astrea. He lost the Immortals and he lost most of the High Templar. So an expensive loss, or expensive trade, I should say, but there it is. GG gets called. The all-in fails. And Astrea, he survives. He takes game number 1. Whew, GG. A very interesting build by Astrea. I'm pretty sure the build that Astrea just went for, going for the earlier Forge +1 charge into Storm, was not going to be a +1 timing. I mean, the Storm obviously did scream that. It was more like Astrea was kind of expecting aggression, and he was blindly setting up for it defensively, able to blindly defend against the all-in. Again, could have seen a cleaner defense there if he was fully aware of what was happening. But yeah, really nicely done there. SHIN misreading the situation, misreading the game, going for the all-in, and almost playing into Astrea's hands. Almost. Again, Astrea, he wasn't fully prepared for the all-in, which is why it was as close as it was. But in the end, it did barely go his way. And now we're getting to game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. We're getting into game 2, a very intense game 1, but now we load into a much larger map in the map pool. Much larger map, longer rush distance compared to grid. We're going to be loading into Pylon. Let's go. Loading into Pylon here, and we'll see how this story continues. Again, we do see Astrea with a 1-0 lead. And this is going to be an interesting one here. We'll see how aggressive SHIN can be on a larger map, on a more open map as well. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have our American Protoss player, the Red Protoss, leading the series 1-0. It is Astrea. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg. Down in the series. We'll see if he can recover. We'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is a SHIN. for Weibo Gaming. El huevito, el huevito. Here we go. For now, we are going to be opening up. So far, so good. And again, welcome one and all to Pylon. Pylon is a much larger map of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. We have some Zelnaga towers here towards both ends of the map. And on top of that, we have some very spread out bases. We have a natural, third and fourth base. Now, this layout is not as extreme as Frostline, but it does have some similarities when it comes to how the bases are more spread out and how accessible the bases are with all these attack pods by going in between the bases and by having 2 entrances at the triangular third and 2 entrances at the linear third base as well. So multiple entrances here, but what I will say as opposed to Frostline is that these bases are more defendable, at least. They're accessible, but they're more defendable than some of the extreme maps that we had last season. If you recall, we did have a banger of a PvT on this map earlier between Astrea and Cure, where Cure time and time again was caught out of position. Cure, he was lacking map control, map vision, map awareness, and Cure, he was just torn apart by Astrea. And we'll see how SHIN will approach this. We shall see. So now we do have our initial openers. Gate expand out of Astrea. Setting up back at him, going for his own second gateway, earlier second gateway. With this, we'll be walling up. SHIN back at home, hatch gas pool, getting to link speed, droning on up. It's going to be saturating. Now we're settling in. From here, SHIN will be taking his third base, again just building up his own economy. We've yet to really confirm the tech of choice, again because of the 2-gate opener. We're going to be opening up double and then third and fourth adept as well. So this is a more aggressive start by Astrea with that 2-gate opener. There are more adepts sooner, but this will mean that the Stargate is more delayed. So delayed Stargate in favor of early game adept harass as Astrea moves out. And remember, 2 adepts, they can one-shot drones. They can one-shot. He's making his way towards a natural. And SHIN, he is trying to keep up. So far, so good. So far, so good. SHIN, he does hold the line, does defend. Behind this third base is going to be on the way for Astrea and opening up Oracle. No surprises here, going for his Oracle opener. Again, the Oracle aggression is going to be delayed because of the Adepts, and the Adepts, they don't get much done. Adepts, they do race back home, they don't really get much damage done across the map. Spores are going to be later here for SHIN because of the initial opener, because of the 2-gate opener. Ooh, and Astrea going for a much faster Twilight Council. Okay, now we've already seen some cheeky builds out of Astrea. Now, with this earlier Twilight Council, I would assume Glaives. I would assume Glaive Adepts here from Astrea, but if he's been watching a lot of Hero, this could be early Blink into a 3-base all-in. So we could see early Blink, that's going to be another option here, but still leaning more towards Glaives. We'll keep an eye on Astrea. What's it going to be? Twilight Council is done. Remember, no Forge. Looking more and more like a Glaive Adepts. Lings are amassing. Oracle pokes in. As we have far more Lings on the way, 26 more Lings in production. Where is our tech, by the way? Overlord comes in for the scouts. Oh, and SHIN is going for the all-in. SHIN, he's not droning. He's not droning up. He's welding his queens across the map. He's going for a Link Queen. Just a straight-up Link Queen all-in. Blink is going to be on the way, but this is late Blink out of Astrea back at home. He has no shield batteries. He's in trouble. He's in trouble. Lings, they come in for the surround. Astrea is caught with his pants down. The pants are down completely. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Stalkers do fall. Adepts, they try to hit the mineral lines across the map, but SHIN, he's just rallying in. Just rallying in. Queens, they've almost arrived. The queens are coming. And the third base has been broken. At this point, the third has been broken. Oracles, they come into support, but that's what the queens are for. Lings, they go for the expansion. And there should be no saving this base. As the base will crumble. Lings they even collapse on top of 2 of those adepts. 2 adepts go down. More queens waddling in. And the base will fall. Again, not even a German taxi. We just waddle the queens across the map. Ay, ay, ay. Back at home, now we're droning. Back at home, now Shin is droning. Now he's saturating. This is late. It's late drones and late lair for Shin, but it's fine. He's far enough ahead. He's far enough ahead where he can catch up with that tech. You see Shin checking for another expansion. Make sure that Astrea is stuck on 2 bases, and Astrea, he's trying to build back up. He's heavily supply blocked. We have 4 pylons on the way. The Forger +1. And Shin, he can just freely drone. He can build up his lair, get into Ling Hydra, tech towards Hive, get a 4th base. There we go, 4th base on left-hand side. Shin is looking very comfortable. He's looking comfortable here. Likewise, Lings, they get across the map, they get us around. Oh my god, clutch blink. Blink does save the stalkers. Stasis pops up. And Astrea, he still has some catching up to do. Now Shin, he hasn't been droning too hard. I would have assumed he would have gone up to 4 base saturation, sorry, at least 3 base saturation. But Shin is still only on 57 workers. He's now double expanding. Shin does have a lead, don't get me wrong. Does have a lead. Oh, very nicely done here. Shin, he's trying to escape. He's trying to get out of here. Oh no. As he doesn't get away with anything. Nice cleanup by Astrea. Nice cleanup. Meanwhile, Shin, he's attempting to get into Ling Hydra, but he's not there yet. Astrea moving in. Clearing up creep. Shin setting up us around. Yeah, coming in from behind. And Astrea has to get the hell out of here. Force a recall. Does lose 1 stalker. 1 stalker goes down, but again, Astrea, he's recovering. He hasn't recovered yet. Astrea, he's lacking splash damage. Whether it's Colossus or whether it's Storm, he needs something here. Storm is halfway done. Without it, he's vulnerable. Without it, he's stuck at home. And Shin, he's free to drone. And he is. Shin, he drones up to 75. Now he's taking up into Baneling speed, into Hydra range. From here, he can take up into Lurkers and Hive. I would actually want to see further tech here out of Shin as Astrea is turtling up back at home. Trying to at least, throwing down shield batteries, throwing down stasis traps. Again, Astrea, he has 0 map control. So it is on Shin to take advantage of that and to tech. For the time being, he isn't. Does have the high yield gas geyser. He has a boosted economy. Looks like Shin, he's maxing out on Lingbane Roach Ravager. Ooh, okay, so again, Shin, he has the choice. He can make the choice right now. He could have a minute ago to throw down a Lurker Den, to throw down an Infestation Pit, to throw down a Hive. He's sticking with Lair Tech. He is maxing out on Lair Tech, which, I mean, he still has the advantage, and you can see with the supply, like, Shin still has an overwhelming force, but this does give Astrea a way back into this. If he can survive, if he can land some solid storms, he can overcome this. Even being down in supply, he can actually fight back and take a better fight than Shin. Astrea pushes through the center, Shin going for a run by, going for a counterattack. Astrea turning back. Turns back around. Bailing's rolling in, they knock down the wall, but there's a stasis. Yeah, stasis goes off of the wall, does survive a little bit longer. Bailings still make their way through. Yeah, boys are being pulled away. Oh, despite that, massive connections. Oh no, oh, 16. 16 probes go down. Astrea, he did not split well enough. And Shin, he will soon max. He will soon max out. And Astrea, even though he has a more efficient army, that is true. I believe he only has 3. Oh, no, no! 2 Templar, 3 Templar go down. Not a single storm. Ay, ay, ay. That was his way back into this game. Was going to be those storms, but not anymore. And Shin, he's done it. At this point, he has done it. He will knock down the 4th base. The expansion should crumble. A bit of a shaky fight here. Shin bleeding out a lot of these Hydras. The Ling reinforcements have arrived. They're going to surround the Archon. And they will break this base. They will break this expansion. As Hydras, they start to step forward. They take down the Oracles. And there's nothing here. There's just nothing here. GG gets called. And SHIN, he will fight back. He will tie up the series 1-1. Whew, GG. We'll tie the series up. Again, a very successful early rush here from SHIN. Remember, SHIN, he did rush into, or he did go into a Ling at Queen all-in early on. Just walked across the map, and he was able to break Astrea. Astrea, he didn't see it coming. He did fail to scout the push. He failed to scout the all-in. Because of that, there was 0 shield batteries at the third base. That's why we did mention how he was caught with his pants down. The pants, they were down. They were off, Bappy. He was not ready. And GG. With that, GG, well played. I did mention that SHIN, he was not teching, so there was a chance for maybe Astrea to recover, but he, like, all the fights had to go his way. The fights, they needed to go his way. The engagements, the army control, but alas, was not quite able to pull that off. And with that, we're going to game 3. We have a tied up series. We're going to game 3. And we'll see how this story ends. We'll see how this story concludes as we are loading into Tokamak. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the American Protoss player, the Red Protoss. Being forced into a tied series, we'll see if we can bring it back. It is Astrea. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing his new team, Weibo Gaming. It is SHIN. Here we go. Whew. So we can take a breath, we can calm down here, and we load into Tokamak. Tokamak, I would say, is potentially, I say potentially because I haven't seen enough of Incorporeal, so I'm on the fence with Incorporeal, but I will say that Tokamak is most likely the most defensive map out of the new maps in the most, or in the freshest ladder map pool. The most macro, the most defensive. We do have these rocks in between the bases, kind of limiting certain attack paths and limiting aggressive potential here from any kind of moving in player. Astrea likewise will have a more secure third and fourth base available to him. If you want to take it slow, this would be the map for it. This would be the map. Likewise, the attack paths are not as direct, so something like a Queen Walker across the map is going to be very awkward on Tokamak, much more awkward than on Pylon. As the attack path is more winding. At least if you don't knock down the rocks. So we'll see how our players will approach this. So far, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of SHIN. We'll see if Astrea opens up with another second gateway. Remember, last game, Astrea, he delayed his Stargate, he delayed his Oracle in favor of a 2-gate opener for double adept. This time, that is not the case. This time, I'm going for a gate expand into Cybercore, no fast second gateway. So this time, a faster Stargate, faster tech. I'm assuming Stargate, but technically we could take up in a different direction. Cybercore has been placed. What are we going for? And there it is, Twilight. Oh my god, Twilight Council opener. Okay, Astrea, you have our attention here. It's going to be a Twilight Council. From here, we can go into Glaive Depths. If we pull out a gas, we can go into Glaives. If we stay in, we could go for a Dark Shrine opener into DTs, into an Archon drop. This can also lead into a Robo, into a Temple Archives, into a delayed Archon drop, I suppose. That's often done off of a Stargate opener. We'll see. I'm a little bit torn because he pulls only 1 off of gas, not 2. Robo's thrown down. So is it going to be Glaives? Is it going to be a Dark Shrine? Twilight Council is complete. That pulls out. Okay, pulls out. This should be Glaives. So it should be 4-gate Glaives alongside a War Prism. Gateway's being thrown down. A Ling does slip in, and SHIN, he will get a full scout of the main. He does see the tech. He does see the Twilight Council, the Robo, the gateways as well. He sees everything he needs to. Now here come Glaives. As we mentioned, Astrea did pull out a gas, so it did scream Glaive Adepts. Likewise, behind this, we do see SHIN droning, saturating. We should be seeing a safety Roach Warren momentarily from the side of SHIN. We go. Yep, there's that Roach Warren. So safety Roach Warren out of SHIN. So he has his tools to defend. Meanwhile, the 4 gateways are getting up and running. The Prism is on the way. Now, this is not an all-in. I should emphasize that. This is not an all-in from Astrea, but this needs to get damage done. If this doesn't, then Astrea will fall behind, because Astrea, he is sacrificing his 3rd base and sacrificing harassment with oracles in favor of Mass Adept. So again, Astrea, he will eventually expand behind this, but he needs to do something to keep the Zerg player at bay. Now, if SHIN defends well enough, he can turn this defense into an offense and counterattack after he shuts down these Adepts. So a very tense moment. Adepts, they do threaten a shade towards the main. He commits. Does commit in. Prism does arrive as well to reinforce. Ooh. Queens, they zone away the Prism, but the first Queen does go down. Nice pick off. Prism comes back in. Yeah, there's no Queen in position. Ling's going to be falling. Roaches, they do struggle. And Adepts, they do shade into the mineral lines. Drones are going to be going down at the 3rd. Oh, there's nothing here. Never mind. There's nothing at the 3rd. So Adepts, they shade. Nothing to kill. They take down the Spore. So far, Astrea trading relatively well, but no economic damage here. Yeah, no economic damage. He is taking a 3rd base behind this, going to his own immortal production, getting ready for the Roach counterattack. But Astrea, he needs more. He needs more damage. Takes down one of the Roaches. Gets 1, gets 2. Does come into the shade. But forced to recall, and SHIN holds. SHIN holds. What does he lose? He loses 1 drone. 1 drone, 1 Queen, 1 Spore. Lings, of course. But now it's time to counterattack. And again, Astrea, he did not get enough damage done here to stop the counterattack from happening. Astrea's in trouble. Astrea, he's in trouble. Here we go. SHIN rallies everything across the map. Ravager's morphing in as well. Reinforcing with pure Ling. And this is going to be a tough hold for Astrea. You see SHIN waiting for reinforcements. Adepts are being proactive. Lings are coming for the surround. Yeah, they collapse on the army. That's juggling out of Astrea. He does blink back. So far, very nice control. Astrea buying time for his shield battery. He juggles well. Saves the Immortals, preserve the Adepts. Shield batteries are done. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Astrea. SHIN, he has to break Astrea here and now. Does he have a charge? Shield battery does survive. Lings, they try to get into the mineral line. Ravagers are exposed. And SHIN is losing too much. Losing far too much here. Lings, they trickle in, but Astrea holds. Astrea, he holds, he defends, he shuts this down. SHIN is falling far and further behind. He's falling behind here. Remember, he's all in. Adepts, they commit, they take down another Ravager. He gets 1, he gets 2 more Ravagers. Oh, the juggling, the micro. Oh my god. Files, they graze the Immortal. At the same time, SHIN does get into the mineral line. Not bad. 7 probes. 7 probes going down. Finally, some damage is being done. But this is still not enough. As Astrea, he commits across the map. Ooh, Astrea's supply blocked. There was! Oh my god. Astrea, his supply blocked, no more reinforcements. Bearing in mind, SHIN, he has not droned this entire time. He's been stuck at 37 workers throughout this entire defense and offense as well. And Astrea, he backs off. Because of the supply block, Astrea, he cannot reinforce, he cannot warp in, so he has to retreat. So, brutal pick off there with that pylon. Pylons are still on the way. Astrea forced back home. And SHIN, he hasn't droned. There's no way for him to drone. At this point, SHIN is too far behind economically to try to macro out of this. He's committing to the all-in. And he's pumping out more Roaches, more Ravagers behind this. Of course, he's on 3 gases. He's moving in. Astrea trying to buy some time. SHIN is supply blocked. But I do worry here because back at home, there is a decent army, quite in position. Force fields, they lock down the army. Immortals, they trade well. Speaking of roaches, catching another Ravager. Very nice pick up. Ooh, Biles like rain down on the army. But it looks like there are enough Immortals. Yeah, there's more than enough. Astrea, he will hold. He will completely shut this down. He has 5 Immortals. The Immortals, they stand their ground. They shut down the Roaches, the Ravagers, and with that, the all-in has failed. And Astrea, he will take the game. GG gets called. Astrea takes a 2-1 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. I don't blame Shin for going for the all-in. Remember, Shin, he lost 1 drone. He lost 1 drone in the defense, so he committed into the counterattack, into the all-in with his Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers, all for 37 workers. And initially, things were looking good for Shin, but Astrea, his unit control, his, I want to say his, him being proactive was really what sealed the deal when it comes to that defense. Astrea engaging with the army ahead of time, using his prism to control well, to save his units, save his adepts, save the Immortals, juggle them back, and that was all to trade well against Lings, trade well against Ravagers, but also to buy time for the shield batteries. By the time Astrea was forced back to his base, by the time he was forced back to the 3rd, he already had shield batteries up and running, and that made for a stronger defense. So very, very intense moment, very intense game there. Astrea, he survives the counterattack despite not really doing much economic damage across the map, and with that, Astrea takes the game. Whew, does take the game. I mean, we did speak about the map itself as well earlier. We spoke about how defensive it is, how much more defendable Tokamak is compared to some of the other maps. And with that, Astrea is 1 game away from becoming our champion. Love how Astrea just casually comes back and dominates the current scene. Yeah, he's been looking really good. He's been looking really strong, specifically against Terran. Here against Zerg, we haven't really seen much of Astrea's mid-game yet. Both games that Astrea has won so far have been failed all-ins. Shin, he failed an all-in on Grid. Shin, he failed an all-in here on Tokamak as well. So these are the games where Astrea has been able to defend well and been able to succeed. I want to see a back and forth mid game. That's what I want to see. And we'll see if we can get there. I mean, part of the reason why Shin, it's not like Shin has been deciding to go for an all-in from the beginning. Both on the Grid and on Tokamak, they were both more awkward openers out of Astrea, which forced Shin to make roaches early on, right? It was in game 1 where Astrea went for a robo opener. Remember, he went for a robo opener into early +1, into charge, into immortal production early on. As we assumed it was going to be a 2-base all-in, but Astrea expanded, and the all-in came to him instead. Here on Tokamak, Glaive Adept opener, forcing out roaches, which didn't do much across the map, but Astrea, he had a beautiful defense. So again, both games he forced early roaches and he forced this reaction out of Shin, and Shin, he turned that reaction into an all-in. Both games failed both times. Now we're getting into game number 4. And we'll see if the story ends here and now, or if we're able to force the ace match. Personally, I'd love to see a game 5, but the pressure is on. Pressure is on. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Here. Oh. That just happened. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner here of Persephone, we have the American Protoss player. We have the American Protoss, the Red Protoss, leading the series at 2-1. And 1 game away from becoming our champion. It is Astrea. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg player himself, representing his new team, Weibo Gaming, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can recover. It is Shin. Here we go. Somehow I feel like Astrea's micro improved in the past 6 to 9 months. He's been away from StarCraft. I don't know if that's the case, but what I will say is that his micro and his unit control has been on full display just because of the nature of these games. During these defenses and during these all-ins where Shin has been committing, that's where that really thrives, right? That's what you have to rely upon, especially if you're caught off guard, which was the case in game 1. So that's kind of been at the forefront of a lot of these games here, is Astrea's control. And has been solid. Has been solid. Here we go. And again, after the results of those last couple of games, I would imagine that Shin is going to calm down. He's going to calm down. He's going to drone. He's going to saturate. He's going to make workers. I would imagine he's going to react a little bit less harder here to these aggressive starts. From the side of Astrea, I would like to see either another Twilight Council opener or another Robo opener. Like, again, like he has been having a little success kind of baiting SHIN into these all-ins. At this point, though, I would imagine that if we end up in that situation again, I don't think SHIN is going to commit as hard, but we'll see. We'll see. For now, we do have our initial openers. So Gate Expand into Cybercore from Astrea and Stargate. Okay, it's going to be a Stargate opener out of Astrea. With this, we can open up Oracle or Void Ray. We'll see how Astrea does open. But for now, it looks like a standard start from Astrea, which means SHIN is going to be a lot more comfortable here. He can take his third base, and SHIN, he can now drone. He can drone on up. He can, not saying he will. Welcome one and all to Persephone. Persephone is one of the smaller maps in the tournament map pool. One of the more smaller maps. Rush distance by ground is very direct. Very direct rush distance. Aggression can be favored. We often see a lot of mid-game aggression here on Persephone. We don't see as much late game. Nowhere near as much. We are building up. Oracle's on the way. And here we go, Astrea. He does move out. Does move out across the map. We have the NG overcharge. As he moves out, Lings are moving in. They're here to delay the expansion. And they barely don't. Whew. They do not get on top of the probe. They're not fast enough, not in time. Astrea does expand, and that is a very early Twilight Council. Just as he expands, Twilight Council gets thrown down. This should be Glaive Adepts. I say it should be. Last time we saw this kind of build, we did see Blink on the way from Astrea instead. That was over on Pylon, if you recall. I was on Pylon. That's where you go core with this man. Said, oh god, no! Oh, as the Oracle does run into the Queens. Yeah, the first Oracle does fall. Brutal pickoff. SHIN, he defends well. And Astrea, he's in a bit of trouble here. Yeah, rough start for Astrea. Does get 3 drones, which is a little bit better. Twilight Council is done. Show us, oh, Blink, not Glaive. So this is the same opener that we saw over on Pylon. Now, I'm concerned for this Blink Stalker build, just because this could be the beginning of a 3-base all-in of an 8-gate. But the strength of the 8-gate actually comes in, not just the Stalkers, it comes in the form of the Oracles. Preserving your Oracles at the start of the game does mean that your Stalkers are safer against Mass Link. But now, one Oracle is almost dead, the other Oracle did fall earlier as well. So there's going to be less support for Astrea. Is less support. Not seen any Super Micro, to be honest. You should watch more. You should watch the games. No. As Astrea does move out. Likewise, here comes a follow-up. So Astrea, he's not investing too hard into gateways. He does go for a faster tech switch instead. So he's going to be switching into Storm. Adepts do shade in towards the mineral line, getting 3 drones so far. Getting up to 3. Just poking in. SHIN going for the Spire. Let's go. We get the Spire behind the mineral line. Taking up towards meters. And because there's only 1 Oracle left, the chances of this being scouted is quite low. Yeah, lower chance to scout. Almost got dumpstered many times. If you remember, those were, again, specifically all-ins from Vindicta, where Astrea was being very greedy. If you're watching the games, if you recall, it was Astrea that was taking faster expansions, and likewise, it was Vindicta who was hyper-aggressive and going for non-stop all-ins. It's a very good series. Do recommend it. It was very intense. Very intense. Oh. So far, Astrea is keeping up with the Lings, but my biggest concern here is the Spire, right? Is the Mutas, as so far completely unscouted. Now, we do have some Blink Stalkers to keep up and to defend, that is true. So Astrea, he has some units that can maintain themselves against Muta play. You want SHIN fanning out his army. He's got Ling Roach towards the left-hand side, he's got more Ling Roach towards the right. So far, Astrea, he is somewhat in position. He's got cannons, shield batteries, he has some storms ready as well. Stasis Trap goes off, storm on the Roaches. And so far, Astrea, he is holding on. He's keeping up. But this is all keeping Astrea pinned back home. And again, what's really coming are the Mutas. Yeah, the Mutas are on the horizon. Okay, forcing him back. So far, Astrea holding on. Heavy reliance on mana usage? Oh, you mean on spellcasters? I mean, that's the meta right now. What do you mean? True. As of Astrea, he is holding, he's defending. He sets up his third, sets up his fourth, rolling up. But alas, is he ready for the Mutas as the main base is completely exposed? Yeah, Mutas, they slip in. Probe's going to be going down. Astrea out of position. Has to respond, has to react, getting up to 7 probe kills. Now, what's important is that SHIN is not going mass Muta. He does make Mutas, that is true, but he doesn't invest into upgrades, and he's switching and committing to his ground army instead, into Ling Roach Ravager. Oh. Takes down one of the High Templar. SHIN, he is maxed. He's maxed out. And we'll see if Astrea can hold on here. How many High Templar does he have? He has 5. He has 5 High Templar. He has at least 5 Storms. Astrea out of position. SHIN going for the linear third. Oh. Takes down the cannon. Takes out the cannon. Going for the gateways. But again, the gateways, they're buying time. High Templar moving in. So far, forcing back the Roaches. So far, Astrea, he is holding on. He doesn't lose any. He loses 5 probes. Nice storm on the Roaches. Oh god. Storms do punish. But at the same time, the Mutas are still a threat. They get into another mineral line. Taking down 13 workers. Oh! Ooh, oh god. No. SHIN, he's trapped. SHIN bleeding out so many of these Mutas. Now, on the one hand, the Mutas, they don't really matter as much because remember, SHIN, he's switching into a full ground army, but you don't want to throw them away. These are still expensive. And here we go. SHIN is moving in, getting ready for the second wave. Now, this time, there's less side defense. This time, the cannons were dealt with. They have not been replaced. And the gateways, yeah, this is a late reaction, late realization from Astrea. This was needed earlier. Can he buy time? Mutas, they're still wreaking havoc in the main. Only 3 Mutas. Minami moves in. Astrea is keeping up. Files, they do not connect. They graze the Archon. Graze the Archon. Files, they catch 1 High Templar. 1 Templar goes down. SHIN rallying into the army, bleeding out 3 Roaches. Roaches do fall. And SHIN is transitioning into Lurker Tech. But this is late. The Lurker Tech is delayed here for SHIN. So there's a window in time here where Astrea has the advantage. Mutas, they go for another counterattack, but Astrea, he's in position. He shuts down the Roaches. Sorry, I meant to say Roaches, not Mutas. Roaches get cleaned up. Astrea defends, and now SHIN, he's in trouble here. He has to buy time for his Lurkers, and there it is. 7 Lurkers are morphing in. Now, as the Lurkers morph in, once they get spotted by Astrea, he has to make a choice. He either doubles down and throws down extra Robos, or Stargate into Fleet Beacon into Sky Toss. But Astrea, he hasn't seen this yet. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what's coming his way. He will face check up the ramp. Lurkers are in position. Ooh, and now he knows. Yeah, Lurkers are revealed. Army coming in from behind. The expansion is going to go down. SHIN going for a counterattack instead. It's going to be a kill, not a cancel on the base. Astrea blinking into the main. Oh, does blink in. Bearing in mind Astrea, he can always recall. Oh, going for the Hive even. Uh-oh. SHIN out of position. The Hive is going to get sniped. That will delay any Viper production. And there's a recall. Does recall back home. Roach Ravager doesn't achieve too much. Takes down 1, takes down 2, 3, 4 High Templar. A lot of High Templar go down. But Astrea holds. Astrea, he does hold nice control. Does snipe some of those Ravagers. Ravager's going to be going down. Shin bleeding out a lot of his army. And again, losing that Hive does mean no more Viper production. I say no more. No Viper production, period. So just Hydra Lurker. No Vipers. Astrea moving in. Astrea moves in. Storm on top of the rim. Forcing him back. And there's that decision that we spoke about. Either you throw down more Robos or you throw down Skytoss. So the Skytoss is on the way. So even though Shin has been struggling, even though he has lost base after base, Shin is holding the line. And he's forcing Astrea into Skytoss, into a longer game. Oh god. Storm zone away. Storms do zone. Yo, no charge. No charge. The slow lots are coming. I mean, they're getting on top of the Lurkers regardless. Lurkers are going down. He gets 1. He almost gets 2. Nice Storms on set Hydras. As Astrea pulls away. Ooh, meanwhile, left-hand side did bleed out a lot of his army. Astrea pulling back. And it was still ways away from Tempest. So Tempest production has begun. Again, this tech is late for Astrea. Splitting up his army. Ooh, these Lurkers are exposed. Astrea, does he have detection? Meanwhile, High Templar, they're getting surrounded. Yeah, Storms on the Hydra, Storms on the Lings. These are going to be expensive losses here for Astrea. Catching out all the High Templar. And it'll be worth it if he can kill these Lurkers. Oracle just now coming in. No revelation. Oh, there we go. Does reveal in time. But this is a shaky fight here for Astrea. Cleans up most of the Lurkers. 1 Lurker survives. Shin moves in the right-hand side. And there should have been Storm here to stop this, to support. But they all went down. All the High Templar did fall. Astrea, he's racing on over the base. It looks like it will go down. And Astrea, he's hurting. Now, Astrea does have a bank. So in a way, he can still recover from this. But, god, momentum is heavily in favor of Shin. Yeah, the base goes down. Again, the Skytoss was late. Late Skytoss here from Astrea. So he cannot push in. He cannot push into the Lurkers. The Tempests were needed earlier. Oh, so, oh my god, he snipes all the tech. That was the Hydra Den and the Lurker Den. Okay. Lurker Den goes down, Hydra Den as well. Very nice snipe here from Astrea. Forcing back Shin. And behind this, again, he still has to recover, still has to rebuild, resaturate. He's double expanding. Now, Shin is maxed. Shin is maxed out. He can't really reinforce with Hydras or with Lurkers, but he's maxed out regardless. And the win condition for Shin, deny the bases. If he can deny the 4th and 5th base, again, then he can starve Astrea out, because Astrea, he's burning through his bank. He's burning through his bank. The bank allowed him to sustain himself. But Astrea still needs more bases. Shin, he rushes through the storms. Does take a lot of all the storms to the face. Oh god, no! He takes it to the face. Yeah, and with that, we do see Astrea. He dominates this fight. So the storms, they did so much damage. They gained so much value. Shin, he aped in. Respect the storms, Papi. Respect them. Oh god. And with that, Astrea, he breaks the base. He breaks through the base. He breaks through the main army. Shin took every storm he could to the base. He survived with two hikers, Papi. Ay, ay, ay. And with that, Astrea takes down the expansion. More importantly, he takes his own. Right, his own bases are now getting up and running. As Astrea, he rotates. Remember, no Lurker Den. Remember, Lurker Den was sniped, so 0 Lurkers. 0 Lurkers left, purely Ling Hydra. And that's where Storms can dominate. Storm of the Lings. Lurker Dens are still on the way. Remember, they got sniped earlier. Zealot on the right-hand side. Shin is being pulled apart. He's being pulled apart here. Zealots on the right. Storm on the left. Tempest just getting free damage here. Ooh, one of the Tempests overextending. Has to be careful. 16 drone kills. 16 workers go down. And Shin, he's hurting. He's hurting here. His economy is struggling. He's building up some corruptors. There we go. Lurker Den has been rebuilt. He's now morphing in his first wave of lurkers in quite some time. But this has all allowed Astrea to double expand. These bases, they're getting fully operational. Now he's moving in. Observer is going to get sniped. But the base is under fire, and the base will go down. And Shin going for another dive. He'll bleed out all these corruptors. Lurkers are out of range. And Astrea, he's done it. He has done it. He has broken Shin. GG gets called, and Astrea will take this series 3-1. He will be this week's champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Astrea. He'll be this week's champion. He will dominate. He will take down Shin. Shin, he honestly had a really good showing here in that final game. We had a back and forth, of course, but Shin did make a choice, did make a decision to dive in, to take every storm to the face. With that, he lost his supply lead. If you remember, he was up, I want to say 30 supply, like 30, almost 40 supply. Shin, he had, I would say, the better army for sure. Defensively, I should emphasize. He had the better defensive army, but again, Shin, he wanted to go for the kill. He got impatient, and yeah, with that, he did lose his lead. He did lose his advantage. What's terrifying is that, remember, right after that fight, we had the snipe of the tech. We had the zealot run on the right-hand side as well. Like, everything just escalated out of control then and there. GG. GG, well played. With that, Astrea, he will claim the series. He will be our champion. And welcome back. Welcome back, Astrea. Again, Astrea, he has been on a hiatus. He did take a break for quite some time from StarCraft, and if you recall, we were discussing this during the podcast last week. I was concerned. I was concerned that Astrea had retired. I was concerned that he was gone, that he had decided to retire quietly, silently, but it looks like he was only waiting for the announcement of EWC. He was only waiting for the announcement, and Astrea, he is here, he is back. Last week, he did compete in the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, where he did take down Bjorn, and even here as well, looking very strong against Cure. Like, late game PvT is Astrea's strong suit, taking down both Bjorn and Cure as well. Likewise here, we had a more chaotic series, is what I will say. Like, this PvZ was more chaotic. Again, mostly we had Astrea relying on his defensive prowess, defending against the all-in after all-in from Shin. I do appreciate that we had some back and forth mid to late game here in the final game for the first time in the series, so I do appreciate how this story did conclude. And yeah, very dynamic, very intense, very back and forth. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Astrea will claim it. Will claim it. 50 plus storms, GG. I mean, it was a lot of it came down to the counterattacks, came down to the run-bys. Remember, we had the if you remember, it even before the snipe of the tech, we sniped the hive. If you recall, like Astrea, he was able to outposition Shin. He was able to take down the triangular third base, then take down the hive. We had the zealot run by on the right hand side, taking down the mineral line. We of course had the warp in into the main, taking down the tech. Like, there was a lot of chaos, a lot of counterattacks going on from both sides as well. Like, Shin was also being very active as well, sniping bases and also causing a lot of chaos. Shin's biggest moment that game, if you remember, was catching the High Templar in the center of the map. He caught like 5 High Templar in the center. In the center, that's when Astrea lost a lot of momentum. That's when Astrea fell behind, but he recovered. Did recover. And with that, GG. With that, GG, well played. Oh, I see Jinx. Jinx, if you want to cry, cry somewhere else. Like, oh no. You're coming off as someone who has thoughts about Storm more than anything. Go cry somewhere else. As with that, GG. GG, well played. And with that, we are going to be wrapping up for today's broadcast. Oh, every attack. True, true. Oh no. But yeah, we're going to be wrapping up with today's broadcast, with our morning broadcast. Usually we're live twice a day. Usually we're live twice a day, every single day. And when it comes to the rest of our schedule, we do have this evening off. Now, usually we do cast, again, usually we would have a broadcast, but we do want to take things a little bit slow. I say that this weekend, if you were here, GSL qualifiers, right? Like, I'm so torn because I was like, we want to take things a little bit slower. We want to have some more time off. But alas, GSL qualifiers, so we also have to cover GSL at some point. Most likely we're going to be covering the GSL qualifiers next week. Most likely next week is going to be our coverage of that. This week we do have Tuesday and Wednesday evenings off. We have the Enki Pro Series on Thursday, we have the Pawncast on Thursday, we have StarCraft Evolution League tomorrow, we have Kung Fu Cup on Friday, Little League Cup, KSL. The Brazilian StarCraft circuit is going to be over the weekend, so look forward to that on Saturday, or sorry, on Sunday and on Monday. We have Hatchery Cup, STC. Still a lot of casting going on, but this time we have 2 evenings off on Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, I was very torn because this is how our schedule was looking initially, and then the GSL qualifiers kind of snuck up on us. I forgot to bear that in mind when it came to scheduling our events, so we'll probably hold off on GSL qualifiers until next week. Next week will be the go-to for that. Which days specifically next week, I'm not too certain. Most likely Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday and maybe Friday as well. We'll be doing some GSL coverage. There's just a lot to go over, a lot to cast. Of course, we have GSL on the horizon. We have Star Wars Zagora on the horizon. We have DreamHack Dallas right around the corner as well. There's a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft, a lot of tournaments that are coming up here when it comes to our EWC circuit. So there's a lot to jump into. And again, welcome back to Astrea. Welcome back. Because of his return, I'm sure he will be a part of DreamHack Dallas. I'm sure he'll be there. I'm sure he'll be a part of it. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he's able to perform in that. Also, when it comes to NA StarCraft, I mean, shout out to Trigger, right? Trigger is also doing really well. Unlike Astrea, Trigger, he has been in Korea this entire time, practicing, competing, training, and leveling up during the time of Astrea's break. Trigger has also been improving as a player, and we do expect great things from him as well when it comes to Korean events and also potentially some American events. Actually, because Trigger's in Korea, I don't know if he'll go to Dallas. True. I don't know if that'll happen, actually. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. As I know, Trigger, he has other events planned. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping up. Otherwise, we are going to be wrapping up here. Now, of course, something to bear in mind is that we do have a new ladder map pool. The map pool did go live today. Did go live earlier today. We do have our new map pool, so I'm very tempted to have a cheeky ladder session. Here to go over the new maps, to smudge other new maps as well. All the smudge. Looking forward to it. Oh. Here we go. Trigger good. Yeah, Trigger's been doing really well. He's been doing really well. A 40-year-old man crying because, being told I'm crying because of observing facts, thankful disrespect. I mean, when it comes to disrespect, the problem with how you were speaking on such a thing is that you're taking away from the player, you're taking away from Astrea's accomplishments and from his performance in this tournament by trying to whittle it down to one aspect of his play and one aspect of his race, taking away from again how well he's done, especially considering that he's been on a break, that he has taken some time off. And that he did take down a lot of players. You're not just taking away from Astrea, you're also taking away from his opponents, right? You're taking away from players like Byun, Kyo, Shin, top Koreans that did fall to Astrea, by also again just trying to hone in or narrow it down on one reason as to why he did win these matches, when there's a lot more that came into that. There's a lot more that came into the games themselves, that came into the series, a lot of the all-ins, a lot of the scouting, a lot of the counterattacks. That's what I was trying to emphasize. So I mean, I don't know if you're still around, but again, there are other things that are worth mentioning and worth considering, and worth respecting the players specifically. It's only if you didn't already leave. But with that, GG. With that, GG, well played. Cheeky. But otherwise, we're going to be wrapping up here for the day. Tomorrow is going to be, again, StarCraft Evolution League, and hope you'll enjoy yourselves. Hope you'll had a great time here tonight, and again, look forward to more StarCraft throughout the week. Not just StarCraft on this channel, we have Pig, we have El Chanchito. Pig, he's going to be covering more StarCraft as well, as the Pig Sly Festival is taking place throughout the week. We have the group stage going on for Pig's event that is going to be taking place throughout the rest of the week, and I believe into the playoffs as well. Shout out to Pig, not just for his event that he's been hosting and running, but also because of the family he's about to begin. Pig, of course, did recently announce that that they are soon going to have, don't know the gender of said baby, but they're gonna they are with child, I should say. They're gonna be starting a family. Because of that, I believe after the Pig Sly Festival, they're gonna be going on vacation for a bit and getting ready for that sort of thing. So yeah, much love to Pig, much love. Little, yes, they're gonna have a little piglet. Exciting. Let's go. But otherwise, we're going to be wrapping up. Going to head on over and have a ladder session. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to help support the Cranky Ducklings, you can do so via Patreon. !Patreon in the chat. You can support us there if you wish. 100% of the money on Patreon goes towards our players, goes towards our tournaments. So it's all done there via Patreon. Otherwise, you can follow us. We do stream both on Twitch and on YouTube. We stream on YouTube as well. All of our VODs are uploaded to YouTube alongside them. So again, you can check out anything that you can't watch live. You can check the VODs on YouTube as well. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, and we will see you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.